Hey, welcome everyone. We are on Many Hands Podcast with the Many Hands crew. Hope everyone is having a great day. We're all about business and social consciousness, bringing you topics that are straight fire. What it takes to be successful, what it takes to move your business to the next level, what it takes to move yourself personally, professionally, worldly to the next level. So we're happy to do this. We come to you with four hosts that we do business together, we have fun together, and so we're coming live. I am O Ross, the Small Biz Engine. You can catch me at thesmallbizengine.com. I'm a business strategist, and we'd love to hear from everybody. And come on, crew, who's up?
It's Rio Winfrey here, Orlando's own, your fitness expert, actor, model, brand ambassador, looking to train you physically, spiritually, and physically on your journey. Welcome, everybody. And you can catch me at riowinfrey.com or bookrio.com.
Hello, everybody. This is Antoine Watts, with co-founder of Personal Injury Professionals. We look to assist victims in accidents, workers' comp, slip and falls, anything we can help you with, anything you would need an attorney for, you can actually reach out and we'll help you. You can find us at www.pipinjury.com. Again, www.pipinjury.com.
And as always, what's going on? It's your boy B McKinney. B McKinney Brands, co-founder, diversity and inclusion champion. I'm an investor, business consultant, you name it, I'm in it. You can find me at Brian at McKinneyBrands.com. Again, that's Brian at McKinneyBrands.com. Give me a shout. Let's connect.
All right, y'all. So me and my brothers, and the female in my crew, right? So ladies, start sending in your questions. I can't represent for all of us, so I want to hear from everybody. What's hot? So Reba just got back from Miami Fashion Week.
Speak on it.
How was that?
Great. Miami Fashion Week was great. Met a lot of great people, which is a great topic tonight. I know we'll be talking about contacts and connections. Great way to network. It was Miami, kind of, I guess, unique for the swimwear scene, yet fun. Definitely a place that'll take you out of your comfort zone to a degree, but very great experience. A lot of talented designers out there, a lot of models out there. That are looking to expand. It's funny. You have people that are models that are also designers as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great way to kind of network. And I met a few that I'll be seeing in New York in September as well. So it's such a small world, within this industry. But I had a great time, and looking forward to the next one.
Yep, New York for New York Fashion Week. Just pause for a moment. Give a little respect. Appreciate you. So, yeah, as Rio's talking, we are going to talk about contacts or connections. How do you network effectively? What works for us, what works for our clients, what works to grow our business. So all of that comes into play. Networking, it really is an art form. People say networking to get out of stuff, to try to meet somebody for social reasons. Network, they use the word all-encompassingly, and that's not true networking. So we're going to talk about networking from the business perspective, how to make it profitable. That's the bottom line. I always say, if you can't look through your phone book and find somebody to make money with, your phone book's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So get in the phone.
Throw it out. So we want to talk about that. Twan, I'm going to put you on first.
Okay.
I feel like you're a master networker. I've seen you grow your businesses, and it's like zero to hero real fast. You know what I mean? You go in there with an LLC and an EIN, and next thing you know, you cutting deals. So it's like on a level.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, people want it's a highly coveted spot to be on your guest list. So, what are some of the things that you've done when you're building those relationships?
So the one thing that I've always heard in the past is when you're talking to someone or you're networking with someone, always find out how you can help them, right? We've always heard that. One of the things is, but it's always how you can help them, but how you can directly affect their business. What we do is we actively listen to see who else we can introduce them to help them make money, right? So it's not just about the one-on-one relationship. We actually try to open up a true network. So whomever we have relationship with, we include them. You know, real quick, for instance, I mean, these are the obvious things, but if somebody says, hey, I want to buy a house, well, hey, call my man, B. McKinney, right? If somebody says, I want to, travel, hey, you know what? Call O. Like fitness, hey, you know what? My man Rio, I think you need to talk to him. Not only is he a fitness expert, he's also a brand ambassador, model. You have a business, maybe he can be in your commercials. Like, so we try to figure out every which way we can help somebody and then see how we can connect that web, right? So that's really how we focus. I know one of the things I was really interested in, because we've all seen Rio from the beginning, pretty much. And, he's out there now with, I hope I say her name correctly, Victoria Hanley, and some of these other big modeling groups. And like, that was one of the things I wanted to ask him directly is how does he do that and get out there and network and get these bigger jobs, and besides the management side of it?
Well, thank you for those kind words there, Twan. I appreciate all of you. All you have been on this journey with me. So to start off with that, I'm gonna pass on to O. So O got me involved with the Miss Corporate America pageant before as a judge, and so with that, Anissa, who puts on the pageant, happens to be connected to Victoria. So I met Victoria through Anissa. So Victoria invited me out to a show. I guess it's modeling. It's, there's an art to it. So she liked what I did. And I had some modeling experience prior, but never on a big stage, as Victoria's been introducing me to. So that in itself was me being connected with O being connected with Anissa, and then Anissa being connected with Victoria. And then here we are, at the end of the day. And now with Victoria, now meeting more people within the industry, and I think Victoria's venturing also she's part of iHeartRadio now, and she's going to be getting into some acting. But she's always been very great at introducing me to new people. Like even in Miami, she's introducing me to other people, whether they're designers or just people within the industry. I did like a radio interview, but it just snowballs from there. And at the end of the day, you do want to pass it forward. It's for networking, right? You want to pass it forward to the next person. So I meet people now that may message me about how do I get into modeling, and I tell them, then I'll may connect them with Victoria, see if pass her pictures on and tell them what I did to get going. And, it's a journey, you guys have seen it. It took me a couple of years kind of to get here, but, it's kind of telling what I've gone through and kind of give them steps and some guidance to go through at the end of the day. But overall, like I said, it's one big circle.
Yeah, I'd like to think that I want to break down what you two said on a granular level. I think, because I don't want anybody to miss the points, right? So let me back up a little bit. What I heard Twan saying is train yourself to listen. So you can listen, you can be in a conversation, but if you are actively listening for contacts or people that you can refer in your network, that's where the connections happen. Because for B and I, Twan, we could speak where you've walked us into a deal, like, hey, they can help you. Then you followed up on our behalf. Hey, you circle back, and then you help to close. That's a lot of, positive energy and giving and generosity of spirit. And, we appreciate that. That's a different level. Like some people they'll give you the referral, and at the end of the day, you're still kind of cold calling. There wasn't a warm transfer.
Absolutely.
If you don't warm transfer with your referral, then I could look that number up in the phone book, but thanks, Yeah. So I think when you're actively listening, if I say, well, I know this networking expert and blah, 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 and then somebody else says, you know what, I'm trying to grow my client base, I should be like, ADW Consulting, hello. How do you facilitate this type of relationship and then make the connection? And, with Rio, what I'm hearing that you're saying is follow up. So, and I've seen you be very proficient in your follow up. Like, hey, Rio, did you get the information? No, but I've already sent 2 messages. I've left a voicemail. I let them know in detail what we need. I gave them a deadline to proceed forward. And, I ended it with, with this is what we need, or there's a no-go. So there's a leverage of the relationship. When you're able to leverage your relationship, that's when the networking is net positive.
Right. And just real quick, right? So the 3 things in that. We believe in opportunity webs, right? So again, it's not just a one-on-one, it's a web of people. How can we connect everybody? 2 is being willing to give knowledge to people and help them with connections. Because a lot of times people will say, oh yeah, I have this person. And then, again, right, you get the cold, warm transfer. No, look, we're going to try to do a group text just to connect everybody, to introduce, and then say, you know what? Hey, this is what everybody does. Hey, here you are. I'll follow up with each of you individually to try to to explain further if necessary, and then we go from there. Because the third thing is you have to care about the other people you're really trying to connect. Are you trying to connect them for you, to benefit you? Or are you trying to connect people because you really want to grow your web of people and you really want to help? Those are the things that you really have to look at.
Yeah, I was just going to say on that, you got to have good people around you. And when you have good people around you, it's easy to refer somebody who is a good person, who is going to take care of the person who you're connecting them with. And it's easier to grow your circles, right? If you keep good people around you, you can't always do it, but I do the best I can to make sure that I'm surrounded by positive people who are good people who I know if I say, hey, you know what, you had an accident, call my guy Antoine at ADW, at PIP, because I know that he'll take care of you, right? If you're looking for somebody who's going to work you out, I can say call Rio Winfrey because I know the type of person that I'm sending and I know the quality of work that you're going to get. And so it makes it very easy to hand that off and then follow up. And because to your earlier point about having a web, because the web is so nice and tight, it's easy to hey, have you heard from Rio? Okay, good. Great. I'm glad. I knew he was going to call you back. And if he didn't, then I could call and say, hey, Rio, I sent somebody to you. Did you call them?
Yeah. I think it's critical. You know what I mean? Once you know somebody, you're thinking people. So what a lot of people are doing, why they can't do what the 4 of us have done, is because they're thinking position and not people. So if you have this notable, I know that you're this tier of ladder, then I'll do everything I can to stay in that network. But you have to think about the person, because 1, there's undiscovered talent out there. There are people that, it's the circle of life. You have to bring people up as you're going up, and, somebody who may have other achievements that you don't have, you're getting into that circle. So you have to be very genuine about the network and bring it in. People will respond, hey, I saw them doing a morning news segment. Okay, that's somebody gets a phone call. But this person who, just started, has 1 follower on their blog, they get nothing. You can't go into situations with that type of prejudice in your networking. It's disingenuous, and the people they see it.
And you limit yourself by writing somebody else off. You never know, that person could be the one that walks you into your next big deal or your next biggest deal. But if you write them off, then they're no good to you and you're no good to them. I always say, if you guys have seen Paid in Full, shout out to Mekhi Phifer, shout out to Wood Harris. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cameron. Everybody eats, B. Everybody eats.
Everybody eats, B.
There's enough of this pie that everybody can eat. So if you go at it with a mindset that everybody can eat, you don't have a problem putting somebody else on, because you know that they can win, and when they win, then you win, and it goes back and forth, and it's reciprocal. But if you're always kind of trying to hoard the contacts or hoard the connects, then again, a closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah.
Closed hand, closed fist.
And just on a spiritual level, like for me, you have to know who your source is. Like my source is higher being, my source is God, right? So if you think you're your own source and you can do it all yourself, that's when the hoarding starts. When you're become, ego driven, that's where the hoarding starts. That's where you have all this information that you're not willing to share and nobody's able to pour into you. So who's your source? Once you start to understand who your source is, once you start to understand what makes the world go around, and that, business principles and biblical principles kind of tie in that 10%, that becomes a business principle, comes from our Bible. So I feel that you have to inject some of that in your business, in your network, and understand the source.
Yeah, I feel like there's also kind of staying on topic with that. You have those that are successful when it comes to networking. Those that are successful on it, they are seeing connection. Those that are unsuccessful with it are seeing competition. That's how I view the two differences. You have a lot of those where you're going to say like mixers, and some people are just kind of, they're out there pretending to network. I think you touched on it earlier, but all they see is competition, so they're not really getting anywhere. Versus trying to build a relationship, and see a connection. So that'll separate the successful ones from the ones that are not successful.
Right.
Opinion.
You have to want to see your brothers and sisters grow.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? There has to be a time where you run faster and you run harder. I'm not saying there's no validity in that, but you have to want to see, who's going to work for you, who's going to work with you.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Everybody. But absolutely. I've seen. What do you guys think of this? I've seen where people are networking, and bro, they don't know what they do. They don't know how they do it, and they don't know for whom they do it for. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, what brings you here tonight? I hate saying, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, you pass somebody who's like a mom. Do you work? I hate those questions. You know what I mean? Because it seems like it just feels so confining, right? So, but you ask somebody, hey, what brings you here tonight? Crickets. Or they
the weather outside is
okay.
I'm here for the drink tickets.
Okay.
Right. Look, B, I wasn't gonna say it, but I think it, right?
My man, I'm with you.
But they stumble over the half-hearted elevator speech that they prepared in the car ride over.
Right.
I'm like, but what do you do? But if it's what you do, if it's what you're passionate about, then you kind of should already be. Yeah. Right. And then for those of us who are multifaceted, which sometimes people look at it like, oh, they're confused. But for those of us who are multifaceted and do different things, you have to find a way to brand that in a story where people don't think you're confused and they know what you do. Mm-hmm. Who's run into people and it's just, so that right there. That's what we
do. So obviously you guys know we do 4 quarterly networking events, 4 big events. Personal injury professionals. Our next one is actually August 8th. All right, we're locking down the venue this week. So
fantastic events, by the way.
I appreciate it, man. So people come out to these events, and I literally go up to them and I say, listen, because I don't like to see people just standing alone. Because sometimes, look, networking, you have to learn how to do that sometimes, and it doesn't come natural to everyone. So if you see somebody standing alone, and approach them, talk to them, but when they say, I say, well, what do you do? Oh, I work for this company. Okay, so what's your position at that company? What, like you said, all right, what brings you here tonight? And they're like, well, and they go into this whole thing. I said, you know what? I think people try to create a networking character instead of being themselves and just talk about, like you said, oh, right, like what their passion, like, okay, so this is what you do. Where's your passion and what you do? All right. Talk about that. All right, because that will filter over to people, or transfer over to people. At least if you do that. But we'll find people just standing around. We just go get. Hey, look, come. Let's introduce you to people. Let's just talk. Let's get, because we get it. Not everybody knows how to do it. The problem is that when you try to do that, and then they still go back into the shell.
Right.
And then at that point, I'm like, oh, you're here just to drink my liquor. No problem. Now I know. Make sure he doesn't get more than 2 drink tickets. He got to say, all right.
Start auditing the process.
Yeah. So and we've all been to those places. And look, again, we all understand personality types, and Oh, you said something real. I'm sorry. You said something earlier, and it was about like even hoarding contacts, right? Like we invite people to our events that do exactly what we do in personal injury, and we do that because we are very comfortable with our contacts and our connections, but also is you're right. We want everybody to eat to a certain extent, right? We're all competitive a little bit, but you do want everybody to eat because you do understand that it's going to come back. And that's the one thing. I just left the meeting today, and it was a little bit of that topic. And that other person said, "Look, I don't try to help anybody. That's not my job to help them." And he's absolutely right. But that comes with a detriment. And I just, I get emotional on these podcasts because I love being around y'all, these thought partners, because we all do try to help not only ourselves, like meaning in this group, but we try to reach out to other people that we see may not, or maybe struggling to get where they're trying to get.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what the whole thing with each and every one of us, we're here to empower and inspire. You kind of take it back to like on a entertainment industry type level, like even with acting, auditions and roles and stuff, you'll see a lot of competitive natures in that. There'll be roles that I know I don't even match. For one, it'll say you got to have hair. I ain't got it. So I may pass that on to somebody else is, is looking to get into something and, you would hope somebody pays it forward. But the biggest thing you see a lot is just competition, no matter what type of industry you're in. And you're right. Even if you have some great mixers, by the way. I love it. Looking forward to the next one. But yeah, you hit on the head too with people not being themselves also. And that's kind of what makes them kind of sit in that corner. They're not as confident. Somebody may be working for a company, but yet they have as people call it, a side hustle. And that's what they're passionate about. But for these networking mixers, they may talk about the company they work for, and it's,
Yeah, well, they're so used to defining themselves that way.
Right, exactly.
So they have to transition to, I should be promoting myself full time.
Exactly.
But Twan, so one thing you said when you said, it reminded me of Chris Rock, where it's like you meet your representative when you're on a date. You guys remember that? You're not really meeting the real person. You meet their representative.
You meet their representative. You meet who
Right.
they want you to see.
Right. Yeah. So that kind of reminded me of that. So I'm like cracking up over here. But competition in any economy, right? Competition is healthy. So you have to understand how to ride the wave of competition and understand its purpose in a healthy economy. So, it's basic economics. But all that's really good stuff. Okay, I have a question, right? How do you leverage online relationships? How do you bring those online relationships to fruition?
Well, at some point, I feel you have to. I guess that's a really good question. I feel like if it's something to where you're in the same area, you need to kind of bring that to where you're meeting or connecting somewhere. The challenge is when you're not in the same area, say different states, but you have the same passions and you could benefit each other. That's when you probably have to get into something like a conference call or, a telecall. There's so many different ways to communicate nowadays. But at the end of the day, I would say, if possible, meeting and connecting over a lunch or a dinner or something like that, a meeting of the minds, that in person, you kind of get more of a feel too, and more of a connection, when you're right in front.
I think that we miss the mark when we don't bring our online relationships offline. Because how else are you going to get paid? Because there's an end game, right? and it's profit. So how else do you make money off the connections if you can't bring these online relationships offline? So you have to find one, just on some marketing tip. You should have some kind of funnel that would bring people from off your Instagram into your CRM tool, into a text messaging tool, and a feedback loop into your email marketing and all of that, or else what's the point? Because you have to, I think statistically, you have to contact somebody 5-6 times before they even notice you, not even to close the deal. So you have to continue to drip with information, and you have to bring these relationships offline. You're wasting the opportunity when you don't. Not to mention, wasn't there a recent hiccup with Instagram? And that's not the first, right? So, and then one of our contacts, they shared with me that I want to say one of their clients, all of a sudden, their Instagram account was gone. No reason, no explanation, just gone. and they had to start all over again. It's not like, oh, they did something or it was suspended or they didn't follow the rules or anything like that. I mean, just real squeaky clean content, really no reason for it. And it's gone. And for those of us that build our followers and all of that, and the more so, not even your followers, the numbers, but the quality interactions, for you to get up and then your account's gone and you never move those relationships offline or into your email box, or that's money that just vanished.
No,
And poof, it's gone.
no, it's funny. Oh, did you say, because in the industry that we're in right now with personal injury, besides marketing to the general public, trying to attract that clientele with the auto accidents, there's really no other, like, we don't take advantage of that. We don't maximize those opportunities as much as we probably should. And I'm actually glad you said that, because that made me think about that a little bit more, that we have to do that. Even if you don't pull a large percentage of business from it, one person is more than you had yesterday.
Yeah.
So you have to keep building that. And one thing that, about a lot of us with that social media and online presence is we've done it organically. So those hurt a lot more when they go poof.
Yeah.
When they disappear, those really hurt, because you work to get those.
If you didn't pay for your followers and do all of that, each one, you're like, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on board.
You meet them at a Make-A-Wish event, right?
Okay.
And you're like,
boom.
oh, wow, boom. And then, then that person's gone after that, right? So, but it's just that's funny you brought that up, because I never really focus on that a lot, and I think we need to do that a lot more.
Yeah, and just a tidbit: if you meet somebody at an event, pull out your phone right then and say, "Hey, do you mind if I follow you?" Chances are they'll say yes. You follow them right then and there, and chances are, when they get the notification, they'll follow you back.
Absolutely.
Or you can be as so bold as to suggest it. Hey, I'm about to follow you. What's your handle? Da, 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 da. Hey, just follow me back. Let's stay in communication. So that's step one. As Rio's very dedicated to follow up and things like that. That's step one, the follow up, and step two in building those numbers. So that's just a little tip that's worked for me. And I just want to pass that on to everybody, just to incorporate in their networking.
And on that point, on that note too, you can use. I use the Haystack app to send my business card electronically. So you get to these mixers and everybody's walking around with business cards. Next thing you know, you go home and you have 30 business cards. Well, so does somebody else, and so your business card is in one of their 30 business cards. And what's the chance that they're going to call you back, or you're not going to get lost in the shuffle? But if it's in your phone, in your cell phone. And they know that they have the Haystack app also, or whatever. But if it's in the phone, it's electronic. You don't have to worry about walk around with a rubber band full of business cards. It's right there. Hey, I need somebody. I'm looking to buy a house, or I got a friend who's looking to sell a house. Oh, boom! I met this guy Brian McKinney at a personal injury professional event, and he gave me his card through the cell phone. So get creative with how you're sharing your information, and also taking other people's information, because again, everything is reciprocal. The energy flow has to be reciprocal, I think, in order for this to work.
Yeah, we're in such an age of technology that you should be pinging your information as soon as you find somebody. And I also use Haystack, and you scan the business card on site. And if you meet somebody like, oh, you looking for a trainer? No problem. Ding. And all of a sudden, Rio's information is in their phone. So it's powerful. So absolutely, insert technology into your technology and automation into your networking.
Yeah. I also want to say too, when you're at these networking events, when you're meeting somebody, and say you do hit it off, and you're like planning to meet up, even not planning to meet up, but make sure you guys exchange numbers. It's just like a job interview. And you follow up. It was great meeting you this evening. I look forward to connecting on such and such, whatever you discuss. That's that follow up again. That way you're staying in here. So many people go to different things, and you don't hear from them again. So it's always to leave that in that person's mind. Okay, it's great meeting you tonight. Blah blah blah. Looking forward to that.
And
And
you
again,
never get them again.
right?
Bad.
But you know what O said earlier was what it takes you got to take 6 touches before somebody knows who you are. So if I met you tonight and then I send you a message tomorrow, that's already 2, and it's only been a few days. So
Right.
it puts you on a good trend to hit those, 5, 6, 7 touches to actually get something. And that's what we talk about, converting to the money, really, I guess is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
You met somebody at an event, and how do you convert them into a client that's paying?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I want to say something real quick about just some of the acumen at these networking events. When you meet somebody, don't try to tell them your whole business story, life story. Like if they ask, that's one thing, right? Follow-up conversation, that's one thing. But a lot of these events that I go to, people try to sell me. They try to pitch me. And those networking, if you have 300 people in an event, the last thing I want to do is stop and be pitched for 15, 20 minutes, right? Hey, look, hi, how you doing? My name's Antoine Watts, Formal Bones, what we do. Hey, you know what? Here's a card. Oh, card. Look, you know what? Do you mind if I follow up with you early next week? We can go ahead and send you an email and set up a meeting, a lunch, breakfast, coffee, whatever, right? It's really just to connect. And then as you see them throughout the night, you point and you acknowledge each other in the room, and then there's more connections just with that, verbal and nonverbal, right? But don't try to get the deal that night,
Yeah.
right? Just connect.
Because it's about the relationship, right? Not the
Yeah.
deal, right? Those people that you put money first over the relationship, those are the ones who are jamming it down your throat because they're in such a hurry to get to the end that they could really care less about you. They just want to get to the end where they can ask for the deal, right? But the ones who actually care about the relationship and building a relationship with you, those are the ones who are going to take a couple minutes. Hey, it's good to see you. You know what? I'll see you around. And then, like you said, make some eye contact, you give a wave, you check in, how you doing? How are you having a good time while you're at the event? And then, you follow up, next week. And that is where the relationship is, right? Like I've said before, people want to take the elevator to the top, but sometimes it's better to take the stairs. You enjoy the journey taking the stairs.
Yeah. People, what do they say? Old adage, people don't want to be sold, but they love to buy. So that's where the storytelling takes over. And you have to be able to build a relationship, connect with people, and then it will blossom. But, take your time, nurture the relationship. Another last point I wanted to bring up, conferences. So a lot of people, you like to go to conferences, like that energy, like to get that information. It's nice to have a conference buddy, but sometimes you don't, right? You don't want to miss out on the opportunity to connect with more people or to hear. So people need to get out of their comfort zone and attend events that will pay dividends in their business and their personal growth. How many of you guys attend regular conferences? And do you go alone?
So I do not attend them regularly. I know with me being in fitness, it's not only required, but I will be attending quite a few over the next year or so, next couple of years, I would say. Yeah. But it's going to be great. I'm going to be learning probably from some great people that have been in the industry a bit longer. Definitely looking forward to that. For business, outside of that, I attend some for, the other job that I do have.
Yeah. But here's the thing. But you're a little different than most, right? So you'll go to dinner solo. You'll go to a movie solo. You're like, oh, y'all don't want to go? Listen, nobody asked you anyway. Like you're out. You like ticket for one.
Spider-Man was dope. Spider-Man was dope, by the way. I went by myself last week and it was
dope. Look, I've seen you go to a concert, one ticket. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? And I've done it. Bump to Jay-Z when nobody be like, oh. So
but with that though, that's the thing. Within this group right here, 4, I think we're very unique in the sense that we have the ability just to walk up to people and talk to them, right? I know a lot of times, it's a little comment, right? Somebody will go get some fruit, and I'll be like, I don't know if that fruit looks so good. And then boom, next thing you know, we out here talking, oh, what do you do? What do you do? So it's just a little comment, but we don't, my mom used to always say when I was a kid, Antoine, you never met a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, because, you know, I love people, you know, and I think about all four of us in a sense, right? When we're, so you asked a question about the conferences, right? But what people don't understand is that's seminars, that's conferences, that's, you know, convention, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be like a major thing. It can be, you know, we went to Philly for 24 hours to go see E.T. and Inky. You know, the one thing, it was four of us that went. The one thing that I thought about after we left there was we really didn't connect with anybody else there. Like, that was kind of like a trip that we did with us, you know, and
it was a great trip.
It was a great trip. Now, if
so
I was by myself,
it was a missed opportunity.
So it could be looked at like that, but just because the four of us that went together, that was more kind of like, let's bond, let's get to know each. It was more of that, right? But yeah, if I was by myself, I probably would have talked. And actually, we did talk to people on the roads, right? They're playing
talking
music,
to people in the
dancing,
Uber.
we're high fiving people.
Yeah,
you do connect on a certain level, but yeah, we're just the kind of people that we aren't going to go and just sit there.
Yeah,
like, we're going to interact with some people. But like you said, a buddy is always good, but you know, there's a couple things. Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I'm going to share a little pro tip. I'm going to share a little pro tip that I like.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
I'm going to share a pro tip that I like. So if you have to go to a conference or event, find out, and you have to go by yourself, especially, but it kind of works even if you have your crew. Find out what hashtags they're using for the event. Follow those hashtags, you know, on Instagram, on Twitter. Connect with those people that are using those hashtags. Like, hey, I'm going to be here, blah, 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 blah. Or what people are doing now. Like, we have our speaking event. Our next one is coming up, August 16th at Podcast Movement. So we're going to be on panel. People have already reached out to me. Hey, heard you're speaking, and they'll hit me on LinkedIn before we even get there. Look forward to meeting you. Yeah. So same thing. Follow a hashtag, you know, hashtag Podcast Movement, for example. Who's going to be there? Send them a private note. Hey, you're going to be at the conference? Da, 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 look forward to it. These are the workshops that I'm going to be at, or, you know, see if this, you know, and introduce yourself. And you kind of already have a friend waiting for you. And then you can kind of build from there. You'll be surprised. It's kind of like when the generations don't understand social media. You got to use it. You know what I mean? You don't want to miss the opportunity because you didn't use it. So there are ways around it.
Oh, tell them real quick, Small Biz Engine.
Smallbizengine.com.
Yeah, for sure. See, these are free tidbits, people. All right, people pay for these things. All right,
got that right.
Man, I wrote that down. I was like, hey, you know, I never thought about that, and I've done it. And I was like, oh, hashtags. Okay, yeah.
Dropping gems, son. Dropping gems.
I need
a hand clap. Hand clap. Drop one of Clues bombs.
Yeah, a little funny. Well, I think that we hit a lot of points. We talked about healthy competition. We talked about being genuine. We talked about knowing who you are, what you do, who you serve. We talked about opportunity webs and being able to use that to your advantage and leverage the relationship, being a good listener, being an intentional listener, leveraging your social media, collaboration, becoming a connector. You want to be able to provide and give and connect with somebody and help other people connect. Referral, follow-up, going after the next tier, thinking about people and not positions, what to do at a conference, learning to listen, and creating and contributing to your industry. That's, to me, what we're talking about. That's how we culminate it. Being able to create and or contribute to your industry. So if you're not connecting with enough people, create a blog, create a podcast, create some kind of medium where you can control that content and connect with more people. Be a guest blogger. You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean? Don't start a new nonprofit because somebody pulled on your heartstrings, right? What do? Connect with the nonprofit that's already there and help them build. So there are a lot of points in order to make your networking effective, make it profitable, and make it worth it, because time is money. So that's all what we covered today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's, hey, many hands. Our episode is contacts or connections, and we're always here for you. So hit us all on manyhandspodcast.com, manyhandspodcast.com, and then you'll be able to see B, Antoine, Rio, and myself, and we will reach out to you. Hit us with your questions. We love your feedback. So we appreciate you guys helping us to produce this show. Manyhandspodcast.com, and we are out. Grand opening.
Grand
Close.
closing.
Yeah.